So the purpose of the NDILC is to really talk about the relationships of women and growing women's leadership. One of the changes we made on Sunday was no longer we call it the C-suite. We're going to call it women's leadership because we changed titles so much. New management comes in, changes in the industry. What does C-suite mean? Well, C-suite is supposed to mean CEO, CFO, COO, where you go on the CMO, go to the list. So let's just change it to women's leadership because you can have so many different layers and so many different things. And some of the issues is getting C-suite technically top 5, 10 on a council is tough because we all run 2, 3, 4, 5 jobs, have personal lives, bandwidth, and then on top of it, get all women. He even adds to it when we talk about the statistics being so small, right? So the idea is that these are women who have, not because of where they work or where they have worked or where they currently work, have the passion and heart to step outside and say, I want to advance Naomi, yes, thank you. To want to step outside that comfort zone and become uncomfortable to help advance women at all employment levels and to develop a system to improve that. So we have 3 subcommittees. We have the women's leadership, we have mentoring and education, and then we have media and communication, because what happens inside these 4 walls needs to happen outside these 4 walls more than it needs to happen inside these 4 walls, correct? So the idea is that these women have agreed to participate. We meet every month on the phone, talk about challenges, what we're doing, how we can advance, take it back to our companies, our personal and professional growth. And a lot of times we talk about personal issues, not just about how we can help women, but how we can help support each other in a situation, or how we can just share our stories amongst us. And so one of the things, as I said earlier, is that I have this incredible knack of getting people to say things that they normally wouldn't say, because I expose myself first, and I dress myself, not physically in the nature, but mentally. So I allow them to expose and experience my experiences, and also for themselves. Because as we heard the last 3 days is what? It's trust, and it's the human element of understanding and experiencing and how you feel at the end of the day. I'm not perfect. I make more mistakes than my kids will tell you. I'm perfect, 404 educational level on how to make you feel great and bad at the same time, and have this turn on, turn off. And I say that's because my brain is running 500 miles an hour, and I forget to stop and say hi. And so I'll start off the panel. There's no prescripted. It is completely organic, so I can start with my deficiencies in exposure and things like that. A lot of you might know that I was the only girl that played on the entire water polo league back in 1971. It is now an Olympic sport for women. But part of that toughness is that your body is a piece of meat underneath water, physically, mentally, and emotionally. So every guy that's ever been in the water with me, too much information, I get it. But I had the resilience to go back down and said, don't think of what they're doing to your body. Think about how you can outsmart them. And one thing that I like to say that one of the gentlemen did to me is he thought he'd be so swift that I was going to be this airhead that, you know how in water polo you have to start at each of the sides, right? That you blow the whistle and you take off, go right? That as soon as the whistle is blown and he's swimming out, so he's swimming meeting him in the middle, he decides that he is going to swim on the bottom of a 12-foot deep pool, the entire length across the bottom, and then go on the opposite side to the goal, outsmart where I can see him, and then catch the ball and throw for goal. And I'm swimming head up, doing what you're doing, and thinking, where is my guy? And I see him floating directly on top of the black line, and you can barely see him. Because I'm a perfectionist, I notice every little thing as it's moving, I saw him and I was laughing so hard I was almost drowning because here he was swimming and it's going to come up. And so I let him do his thing and I'm just doing the breaststroke, just lightly going. And I see him on the side and he comes up and says, hi. And they go to throw a pre-planned ball. I intercept it, throw it to my guy and we score. So the idea is that leveraging that, oh, you're inferior. You're not strong enough. You're a woman. How dare you? I was 15 pounds heavier than I am now. I have a lot of muscle. So the idea is that was my story. That helped me get to the strength that, oh, you clean up. Oh, you look good today. Well, what did I look like yesterday? Like crap? How dare you say that? Yes, I'm a tomboy through and through. I heard several people say that. Oh, Sarah just told me that she's a tomboy. You clean up very well. But how dare you say that when I can look at me, it's my health. Look at how good I feel. Look how good I resonate. Don't judge me based on what I'm wearing, whether I'm wearing a $4,000, Giorgio Armani today, or whether I'm wearing a $20 hand-me-down that my older brother gave me. I was not allowed to wear clothes that were mine until I was 8, other than what my mom made me. My first pair of jeans was when I was 13, that I bought myself because I made my own money. So those are my stories that built me to my strength. So I want each one of these women to talk about something and each one to leverage on it, something that you've never heard about them, and they feel compelled to tell you today. Vanessa, you're first on the block.
Oh, lucky me.
And you have your boss sitting in here, so he wants to know every dirty thing about you.
So, your water polo story resonated with me because when I was starting out my career as an originator, I thrived. It was a dream come true, helping families, individuals purchase their home, and every family and person is like a puzzle. Like, oh my God, I'm gonna help you get a house, and this is how much you qualify, and I thrived. And I did really well at my job. And then, lo and behold, I started reporting to people that I'm like, if she or he can do it, I can do it. So I was working at a company I really liked, at Countrywide, and I was one of their top producers. And the position came up to be a manager in California in Van Nuys. Van Nuys is like 99 or 96% Hispanic. And I wanted to be a manager there, be a branch manager, because I knew underwriting, I knew loans. So I felt really compelled, like, I can do this, I got this. And I was 27 years old. I had great numbers behind me, great track record. My manager wrote letters of recommendation, everything. I was ready to go. I felt I could do this. So in the interview, he was new to the company. He was not from Countrywide. And my competitor was there, one of my girlfriends, and she was an assistant manager. I'm like, oh my God. Julie is here, she's definitely gonna get it, she's more qualification. But together we were like two thriving young Latinas, and to this day, Julie's still one of my girls, one of my friends, divas. And we applied, and there was this other gentleman, so it was only 3 of us interviewing. And I remember being in the room with this gentleman, or this man, should I say, and he let me know right away. He didn't even give me the time of day for the interview. And he said, the best qualified person for this role is a male and white. And I was like, wait, what? I'm 27, thriving, doing really well. I'm like, excuse me? I'm like, the demographics of this area is Latinos, right? There's predominantly Hispanics living here. And really, Hispanics like doing business with Hispanics normally. And the primary decision maker is the mom, the wife, or the grandma. The female matriarch is very powerful beyond the male to make the decisions of home buying. And here I am, 27, and I felt like a bird with my wings clipped. I'm like, how dare he speak to me this way? Because in my household, my biggest cheerleader were my parents and my grandmother. And I was like, no, no, no. Needless to say, thank you, anyway, my cheerleader. Needless to say, that gave me that drive to not accept no for an answer. I felt very discouraged. That was the first time in my career that I really experienced sexism and racism. Because I've experienced it at a younger age, but not in my career, not when you're talking to a top producer. I was like, what? So instead of staying, I left. And I went to another competitor who I got the position of a branch manager, what I wanted, because somebody else did believe in me and gave me that opportunity. But when one door closes, another one will open. When somebody says no, you say yes, and you make it happen for you. So that was one of my stories that I will never forget, and to this day, always follow your gut where you want to be, and if somebody says no, you know what, it's okay. They'll say no, but somebody else will say yes. That's what you say.
Sarah, I know you're the insurance of Fannie Mae, but you have to take it up.
No, I was thinking, damn, it sucks to follow Vanessa. I've got nothing to top that, I would like to say.
Imagine us.
No, but then they'll like have forgotten because I'll make it really bad and then that's who wants it. So, Desiree, I did make the comment that I'm a tomboy, and I am, and I embrace that word. There's a lot of controversy about that word if we start talking about gender identity. Let's not go down that rabbit hole. But I understand that some people don't like that word. I like it. I grew up a tomboy, watched a lot of sports, played a lot of sports, road crew in high school. I played rugby in college. It turns out our chief operating officer and our chief financial officer, Fannie, also played rugby, both women as well. So we have 3 top women all who played rugby. I don't know what that is about the ruggers. And as I said on the panel I was on, I really am an A-person. I've always been an outgoing and outspoken person. And had a job outside the law, went to law school at night, became a law firm lawyer, and it totally suited me, right? In many, many ways. But I didn't want to be in-house because I thought I really want to be part of a community with a mission that the whole company shares, that's doing something that I want to, and not just serving outside clients. We don't really know where the voice goes. It sort of like goes into a black hole. I don't really know where it goes. I want to be part of a community of people. And was recruited into Bank of America. And, I had worked for these people for 5 years as outside counsel, so I'll just be myself. The same person who they recruited in is the person they're going to get. It's going to be great. Turns out, people expect something different from you as an internal partner than as an outside. An outside lawyer, you can be your total A, go get them, tell them what to do all day long person. But in-house, you're a partner. You better listen more. And here's this dirty secret about law school. Even though it's probably one of the most important traits as a lawyer, a lot of lawyers don't listen well. And it was clear to me that Alex is a good listener from when he talked about on stage, but a lot of lawyers are not good listeners. We are not trained to be listeners in law school. And I learned a lot about myself and how to be more effective, and frankly, how to be a better person and friend outside of work too. Really improved me as a person, that experience from going outside of what was clearly a comfort zone. It was something that I love the law even more in-house, but I did have to figure out how to be more effective, how to listen better, and also the calm, cool, and collective. You wouldn't have thought that about me if you had met me when I was 20 or 34. It was she's a go-getter, and she's smart, and she gets her stuff done. But you wouldn't have thought that. I was much more sort of laser intense all the time. But I found as a lawyer, that intensity can overwhelm people. And so I brought it down a notch. So I found, maybe it suits me as I age to do that. But I thought that's my story to share.
Yeah, more to go. Stacey.
Sure. Okay, so.
Yes, I'm going barefoot if you all have
So for me, I'm a natural introvert, and so I too played sports. That was like my safe haven growing up. I loved it because anytime anybody challenged you or pissed you off, you didn't really have to say anything. You just get out on the court and you show them, right?
That's right.
So that's what I did. And so taking that into the workforce, I've been at Freddie for 26 years. A lot has happened in 26 years. And sometimes people mistake my quietness for weakness, and that is not the case. And so I may not say anything right then, but you better believe that I'm trying to figure out my strategy because I'm gonna take you to the hoop and we're gonna get down. It's a And so, you know, I just have a different way. I'm not very vocal. I'm not gonna argue. You know, I get my point across. I don't talk to hear myself talk. But when I do talk, you know, I have something to say. And so at Freddie, which is very male heavy, you know, sometimes it's hard to get your voice out there. So I'm not going to fight for that. I'm not going to fight for that position. I've been there, like I said, a long time, so I know a lot more than a lot of people that are there that just got there. And so, you know, when I tell you, well, no, I don't think we can do it that way, you might want to check with legal on that, or we did that 10 years ago and this is what happened, but they want to do it anyway? Okay. All right. And so I just keep tabs on that, and then when it's time to take it to the court, I got it. So I'm just a quiet thunder.
I love it. I love it. Chitra.
So I'm so new to all of you. Whatever I say is going to be new. I don't know how I can.
No, you have your sheet centerfold. Hello, we got to death there.
Surpass those amazing stories. So maybe something I can tell you a little bit about Indian culture and what why. So I don't. You saw my articles. I was born in a middle class where my parents, my mom and dad, crossed the caste lines of the South Indian society and married. You know, it's worse than here, right? You know, here cross-racial marriages more and more, accepted. I'm telling you the story of 1960 when my parents got married. My mother was born in the highest caste line, and then my father wasn't. So they already had broken the societal norms and made a life for each other. So here I am, I was born to them, and I often like to joke that questioning the status quo was bred into my genes, having born in that family. Now, I was always looked upon differently in schools. You know, I'm a smart girl, I was at the time, but still not in one ear or the other. Believe it or not, my teachers used to call me hybrid, and I thought it was a compliment. Because I didn't understand the undertones of those messages, really. When you're a 5-year-old, 6-year-old, 7-year-old, you know, you don't. But because you live in a neighborhood which is very homogenized one way, you know, you don't, you know somewhat you're different. Your parents look slightly differently, or your mom goes to work when others didn't, and so on. So I thought it was part of it. But it came to the fore. So I was the only girl with brothers, right? So my parents would not even let me. I lived in such a protective bubble. You know, some of you can relate to. My father would not even let me go alone outside of the home. My brothers had to escort me anywhere. This is a ridiculous life when I think about how protective I was, and I didn't have any clue about how the world worked. You know, I was with my books, and so anyway, long story short, I come to this 10th grade, so I was 15, not yet 16, I went to a Catholic school, only women, girls school, and the Mother Superior got wind of the fact that I was going to be named, having attained the first rank in the state, the equivalent of your states here, state of Tamil Nadu. So think about this is 100,000 students, more than 100,000 students taking this 10th standard exam coming first. So everybody is thrilled, they ordered sweets and balloons to celebrate it. And then this reporter comes to my house and then interviews me. So we are all geared up for this news breaking tomorrow. So tomorrow the news was going to come, and tonight, today in the evening, we got wind of the fact, the reporter who interviewed me tipped out the fact it's actually going to be a boy from another part of the city, and my marks remained the same. He was awarded 2 extra marks and he became number 1, the first rank. But this happens in India. India was very corrupt. Even you can't, I don't know whether you can relate to. In America probably this is such a meritocratic society, and lawsuits, fear of lawsuits, number 1. But in India, so because of whatever reason, that boy came from a higher caste and parents were doctors, whatever the lot of reasons. And I still remember, now I can conjure up all the pictures. My house was like, as though there was a funeral being held. Because here I am 15 years old, all I know is I did not get my first rank, right? And everybody in the neighborhood came in and started counseling my parents. Maybe you should sue, I did unheard of this. I'm telling you the story a long time ago. And my parents are completely heartbroken. Just at the school, I know, was disappointed. What are they going to do with all the sweets and chocolates and the balloons? So, but that moment, I remember standing in, and everybody is advising that I will never put myself in a position or I will never go after anything that is not merit-based, whether it is college or any position. And then when I reach there, then will be absolutely in control, right? Unambiguously, I am the first, I am the top. There won't be any doubt. There is no, she knew somebody or nothing of that sort is going to happen. It was a huge lesson for a 15-year-old. Think about how vulnerable we all were when we were that age. So actually then I went on to, I did not want to study in any of the, Indian universities that could do any of this. You might have heard of IIT, Indian Institute of Technology. It's one of the premier technology institutions in the world. And getting into it is only by exam. No messing around with who knows who, where you come from, who your parents are. You take an exam, 500,000 students take, less than 1% get into it. And anyway, that really gave me the resolve to go after I got in, and after that the world of opportunities opened up. But I think it was a staggering lesson to go through for that at age, but it was a very valuable lesson. So that's why when I see about affirmative action and so on, actually I could relate to what people on either side might be feeling, why that topic is so, sensitive, very emotional for me. Thank you for listening to my story.
No, it's fantastic. It's horrible, but it's fantastic, right? Go ahead, Teresa.
And look at where you are now, right?
Yeah.
I mean, come on, unbelievable. And I have so many that it's like, I must be the only one that has experienced so many different things in my life. But I actually have one that I want to share with you because I think it's so, prominent. We see it a lot. So when I first started my career in real estate, the area that I focused on was relocation. I don't know if any of you do relocation. I was in business development, and the role that I did was I was very involved with HR directors who actually, and you should if you don't, right? Because I knew a lot of people. So I decided to get involved with the organization called SHRM, Site Human Resource Management in Atlanta. And I actually am one of those people that we're born leaders. You have people that actually do a lot of volunteering, they're teen moms, no matter what, you gravitate to wanting to be the leader. And so I always held different positions within SHRM Atlanta. I was head of communications, head of this, head of that, VP. I did every role, y'all. It was 5 years of commitment of working with SHRM. And I don't have a problem talking about SHRM because they're a great organization, but I worked my butt off. And every group that I managed always got prizes, always was selected as the best, in class. We were awarded on the national level, awards for whatever we did. So I really wanted to be president. That was my goal of being president of SHRM Atlanta. And I never forget, I worked so hard, hours and countless of times after work without seeing my children. And we all know this, right? My kids were small. But I would do all these events and not have time with my kids and sacrifice them because I really wanted to be president. And I met with the executive team at SHRM and expressed to them how important that was for me. And I'll never forget, it was all men. And again, no pun, no reason, it just happened to be that way. And I'll never forget, they said, you'll never be president of this organization. You just aren't good enough and you don't have leadership qualities. And I was like devastated. I was like, what? I'm like, why didn't y'all tell me that before I started? I mean, it was just so devastating to me that here I worked so hard and wasn't able to get to the level of achievement of where I thought I should be because I was a woman and I was Latina, and it really resonated with me. It really was. And that's what I felt it was, that I was discriminated for those reasons. And so I went home and I cried like a baby and boo-hooed for days, and I couldn't believe it. And my husband said, well, okay, well, you're Latina. Why don't you go after Latina organizations? Right? There's those organizations out there. You're amazing, you're wonderful, you're fabulous. Don't let anyone tell you, this is my husband. And I'm telling you, if you don't, that man, you know? And so I said, okay, you're right. So I joined the, at the time, the Georgia Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. Within a year and a half, I was their incoming chair of the organization, had way more members than the SHRM Atlanta chapter. And within 2 years, I started the NAWRB Atlanta chapter and became president of that organization. And then in 2015, became national president of the National Association of Hispanic Real Estate Professionals. Which, what? Right? So I'm telling you, never, ever let anyone tell you that you are not good enough, that you can't do it, and that you are not what you want to be. Don't let anybody take that thunder away.
All right, so now we're going to dive into something personal. What is the most embarrassing thing that's ever happened to you, non-professional? And if I've heard it before, I will stop you midstream. And we're going to start, as you're all thinking, I bet Chitra has one. She has a such, you know, well, I'll start with Chitra. Joking aside, we've had this for a couple weeks now. Human versus computer, right? Women can take the world on. So not as the most embarrassing moment, but the idea is that she knows pop culture like no one's other. So, what would you think that you thought you were doing, that you weren't doing, that you could say, oh my gosh, I wish I would have known?
No, I don't know whether it would be embarrassing or so. It's like Mars or something. You know, the people magazine, is it working? Okay. So, I like to look at, you know, the dresses all women wear. Just that, and those books are, I look at it as those books are for eyes, not for brain. I go to airports, I travel a lot when I was at IBM. Of course, you know, I would leaf through that. So my husband always teaches, so you got your management principles from People magazine. Because I would come and talk about it. Oh, because when you're looking at the dress, you tend to read and then you kind of catch up on what's happening in, I don't know, Kardashians or... And then my husband is a scientist, he's totally out of the world, and I would come and tell him, where are you coming up with all this nonsense? So that's my, you know, secret embarrassing story if you want, but he makes a joke out of, okay. I think you get all your, how to deal with people, how to work with people through the People magazine reading. I am embarrassed, I can tell you, I feel ready. You're not seeing it, I'm not lying.
But it's great, right? The world's greatest scientist is telling you she gets her information from people's eyes. People, you're paying, we're talking. That is great. Stacey, you're the biggest introvert.
Oh, Lord. So I guess I can't tell any stories about when I was any drinking stories, because those are probably the most embarrassing.
Why not?
No, won't go there. So, let's see. I guess when I was younger, much younger, I know I was in elementary school, and I'm from Lansing, Michigan. My dad is a football coach, has been coaching like over 40 years. He's still coaching football, Pop Warner. And so he was just very, very much against cheerleaders for the little week.
And we're like, oh my God, everyone's just dressed up and, you know, like in Sunday church, you know, dresses, and we look like so out of the, you know, out of pocket of what everyone was wearing. It's so embarrassing. And of course, those are your formative years, and you're already embarrassed about your family to begin with. Now that we're living in Mississippi, second, we're Latinos, third, oh my God, what have we done? So it was just probably the most humiliating moment of my life, because everybody laughed about our family and how crazy we were dressed up in all these, you know, to the nines. So that's embarrassing for me.
Is that why you have a cemetery every Halloween?
Absolutely.
At your Mrs. Cemetery?
I do, absolutely.
She has a picture of her looking like Prince, and Rebecca Steele yesterday said, "Oh, Prince? Oh, it's you?" We're not kidding. So anyway, in closing, if you were to give our illustrious guests and attendees today something that you could give of value, bring it back to the seriousness, that would really help our delivery of relationships, and keep it fun, don't keep it serious. I don't want to hear I did this at work and da 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 da. I want to keep it real on the human element only, that you could say, if you could quantify it into 5 words or less, to keep this quick, 5 words or less of wisdom of advancing women, what would it be? And I'm going to start with, Sarah! 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I love it. We're gonna start with Sarah.
I'm using 7 words.
Break the rules already. What is
There
it?
we go. Every interaction is either positive or negative.
Excellent. Chitra.
Big AI, your companion, so should always says yes.
Excellent. Teresa.
Never judge a book by a cover.
All right. Stacey.
Trust yourself and trust God.
There you go. Vanessa.
Be authentic.
Excellent. And mine, I think, be organic and true to yourself. Listen. Thank you. Thank you all.